Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I need to explain the background situation. I'm not in my room, I'm in the kitchen. If you're new here, hi, my name's Emma. I post college vlogs, morning routines, productive vlogs, lifestyle videos, all that stuff every Monday and occasionally Wednesdays. So if you like those types of videos, hit the subscribe button so you know when I post a video, and let's get into the video. So as you probably saw on the title, I'm going to be talking about how I lost my hearing, the hearing aid experience. I made a video a couple months ago where I talked about when I first got my hearing aid, and a lot of people seem to like it, and ever since then I've been getting a bunch of questions. First thing we're going to be talking about is how I lost my hearing. So there's this thing called sudden sensorial hearing loss. I could be pronouncing that wrong, I don't know. It's basically you wake up one day and you can't hear out of one of your ears anymore. Your body just attacks your hearing and you can't hear. I've had perfect hearing my entire life. So I lost it March 1st, 2020. I had school that day. It was in person. And it was so weird because I was dizzy, nauseous, tinnitus ringing, and I just didn't know what the heck was going on. I've never had any ear infections, but I was like, is this what an ear infection is? I went to school that day not being able to hear anyone. That was fun. My teacher called on me at one point and I didn't know what she said. And she repeated it. Still didn't know what she said. And it's like that awkward thing where you don't want to ask like the third or fourth time. About a week later, I went to an urgent care because I was still feeling like gross. And they told me it was an ear infection and gave me a medication that was supposed to help. It didn't do anything. By this point, it was like mid-March to late March, so COVID was starting to happen. We were gonna go to an ear, nose, and throat person, but I never even had one. So when we contacted them, they said they weren't taking new patients because of COVID. So I didn't get to go see an ear, nose, and throat person or an audiologist, anything that would help me. So I'm just kind of stuck. I'm like, I know it's not an ear infection. I did some Google searching. I found the thing that I actually do have. About 6 months later, I went to an audiologist. There's like a hearing test. They told me that I did have sensorial hearing loss, SSHL. They said there was a medication that I could have gotten that had a 30% chance of me getting full hearing back, but it had to be taken within the first 2 weeks of losing your hearing, and back then I still didn't know what was happening. The urgent care was telling me it was an ear infection, and no one wanted me to go see them because of COVID. There's nothing they could have done after the 6 months. They told me I can get a hearing aid, so they fitted me for a hearing aid, and then I waited like 2 months to get it. By the time I got it, it was like late November, maybe December. So I went from March to December not being able to hear. I wasn't sick anymore, but still had really high-pitched, the tinnitus stuff. So I eventually got my hearing aid, and this is when I made the video about my hearing aid. This part sits on top of my ear. This part goes in my ear so I can hear. As excited as I was to get it, honestly, I could tell you, I don't really wear it. Maybe when I go in person, it'll be easier and more beneficial to wear it. They did the test without the hearing aid and with it, and I only have about a 4% increase in hearing, which is very, very little. And in fact, the hearing aid was supposed to help more than it actually does. And my word understanding is even lower than my hearing understanding, if that makes sense. And the hearing aid doesn't really help with that, it just amplifies sound. It's like someone yelling a different language at you. I can't plug any headphones into it, so it's just easier to only rely on my one ear. That's perfectly fine. It is really cool. I did get a more expensive one. It has a Bluetooth capability, and so that means I can control the volume on my phone. Any kind of music I can stream right to the device, but I don't do that because it's just easier to hear through this one. If you don't have a hearing aid, you should know that the sound isn't normal. It sounds very robotic, and at first it sounded like everyone was talking through a microphone. Everybody is talking through a microphone, and I also sound like I'm talking through a microphone. I don't know, I guess they said that's something you'll get used to. It does not sound like normal sound. Here's what my hearing aid looks like. I forgot to tell you, it's like literally invisible. I made it so it's the same color as my hair, so people really don't see it, but it's not very secure. I think if I put my head out a window or something, it would fly off. Sometimes when I'm wearing it, I think, oh my gosh, did it fall off? You just stick it in like an earbud, and then the microphone hooks over your ear, and it just sits there. Like, there's nothing like stuck to it. It's very easy to take off. The only way it stays in my ear is through the little earbud piece. And I would say the only con with this type of hearing aid is that the microphone is at the top on that round part. When you have hair, it rubs on your hair and you just hear like the crunching noise of your hair moving. It wraps around masks too, which is very annoying, so that's another reason I don't wear it. There is another hearing aid that I didn't even try out because it makes everything sound muffled with that hearing aid, but it's one that you just like put in your ear. It's like a little circle. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have any other questions, don't be afraid to ask them. I will either just reply or make an entire video about it. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up so I know, and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you either next Wednesday or next Monday. Have the notification bell on. Bye! If you need a microphone, literally just use the voice memos app. That's literally what I use. Hit the like button if you... Do you like the giant forks and spoons? Enjoy! Why did I say it like that? Ooh.